For years, most of us have been going into Asian restaurants and having fantastic food. And often the green bits that come with it, we're not all that familiar with, except the fact they taste rather good. Well, you can grow most of them at home. They really are very easy. In fact, many of them are easier to grow than a lot of the old-fashioned, conventional veggies. Clear yourself a bit of soil, full sun. You can use an old stake once you've dug the soil over, and maybe preferably put a bit of manure into the soil just to give it a bit of richness. And you slide the stake backwards and forwards like that, which gives you your row of how you're going to plant. Now, you can sow the seeds directly, if you wish, just by gently holding the packet and sprinkling them along, or even picking them out with your fingers and dropping them in. Ideally, they're sort of towards 20 centimetres apart. The other one, which many of the old gardeners have always done, is you mix your seed in with a bit of sand, and that way it's very, very easy to get a reasonable spacing. So you just run along your row that you've made with the sand, like this. Those who enjoy the English language might note the phrase "like this," in preference to "like so." Although I am sowing seed. Now, of course, you can sow your seeds into a little punnet and then prick them out later on, but if you've sown them in the ground as I am here, all you need to do once you've put them in is just put a very light layer, just a few millimetres thick, of a seed raising mix on top. And don't forget at the end of each row to put a little stick in with your packet so you know where you planted it and indeed what you planted, because you might forget. Obviously the last sort of stage is to water them in. Give them a good watering until the soil looks quite moist. And then you're looking at probably, it's only about 5 days really, once the weather warms up a bit, before these things start to germinate. But you may not see a lot of activity for perhaps a week or two. But what I'd strongly suggest is that after you've watered them in, you do apply some snail pellets. Because remember, the snails actually adore these sorts of things. And that may mean if you've got, particularly a dog, but it may also be a cat. If you've got a dog, I would recommend you either shut the dog away from this area, fence it off or whatever, but be very careful because dogs do like snail baits, and if they eat them, it can kill them. But anyway, good luck with them. Should only be, as I said, perhaps a little bit over a week before you start to see green coming up. And when you start harvesting them, you'll understand that nothing ever tastes as good as the veggies or the fruit or whatever that you've grown yourself.